Let's go back and look at our old fateful example. So we're going to construct a different type of visual display this time. So we still have our classes, so we went back to a class width of 10, and we're looking at what we call midpoints. So to find the midpoint of a class, what you're going to do is you're going to take that class's midpoint, and you're going to take the class that is after it. You're going to take those two lower class limits, and you're going to find the average of them. So you're going to add those two together and then divide by 2. So the midpoint of the first class is 675. So we do the same thing and so on. So I'm going to go down to the bottom. I pretend there's another class, so I would do that and get the next one. A lot of times you can pick up on the pattern, so you'll also notice that between the midpoint, so this is the difference of 10, difference of 10, difference of 10, and so on. So you'll notice that same pattern there. So there's one additional thing we need to look at. So you'll probably notice this random number up here. So we need to look at the class before and the class after, because we have what we call connector points on our graph. So if we pretend there's a class before, its midpoint would be 675, and after we would have one with 645. So you probably notice I have this highlighted, and then at the bottom of the graph down here, those values again. So with a frequency polygon, which is what we're constructing here, you want to use the midpoints. So let's remind ourselves that these are midpoints. So we have 2 extra ones there. Those are connector points. So those connector points are always at 0, right? So let's label those 2. So these are what I'm referring to as connector points. Those are our connector points. So then what we're going to do is just draw a dot for each class at its frequency, and then connect those dots with a straight line, and that's our frequency polygon. So again, make sure you label your axes and then put a title to your graph. So be careful here when you're reading those to remember that the first and last point are not classes. So when you're trying to figure out how many classes there are, make sure you're not looking at those. So that is a frequency polygon.